Hello YouTubers, hello and welcome back, and thank you so much for all your nice comments. Thank you very much, I really do appreciate it, really do, thank you. While I was at work yesterday, obviously can't do anything in here. All these ideas are going through my head based on what we went through, and I sort of dreamt up a plan of what to do in starting up the isolation. That was the sole thinking all the way through work yesterday. And I thought to myself, well, why don't I use a rheostat? Can I get a rheostat that will go up to enough amps that wouldn't cost a fortune? A bit like a smaller version of a Variac. So we can put the voltage into the isolation slowly and build it up slowly. That way it wouldn't blow all the fuses. That was the initial thought. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. There might be a better way of doing it, a cheaper way, an easier way of doing it. And what I thought of, decided in the end to try, or want to try, was, if you can imagine, if I put in, this is the biggest wattage resistor I have, which is 4.7k, 7 watts. And the plan was, if I was still having continuing trouble with the isolation transformer, blowing fuses and tripping the breakers, was to put one of these resistors in line. They'd have to be probably set up on a breadboard or something temporarily. I've never used mains voltage on the breadboard before. Don't know if you can or not, we'll soon find out. And then you would have potentially a switch across the resistor, leaving the resistor in circuit and following the rules of electricity of taking the shortest path of least resistance. Will probably stop flowing through the resistor and flow straight through. So we would have like a two-step voltage increase on the windings of the transformer. That was the plan. That's what I was thinking. I've got some heavy duty switches. Brilliant. So when I came home last night, I thought, well, let's try turning on the isolation and see what happens. Remember, this has got a 13 amp fuse in here at the minute. So I just wanted to turn it on, see if it trips the main breakers. And I turned it on twice with about a few minutes in between, and it didn't trip the breakers. So we're going to try it again now. This is now the next morning. This is now Tuesday morning. As you can see, if we lose our if our breakers trip, we're going to lose our light. So I'm turning on the isolation now, and we're looking at the light to see if it dims or see if it goes out. It didn't even dim. Last night it dimmed once. Isolation is now on. And even though there's no load on the Variac was on. Because there's the light on there. I didn't know that. I just realised it's on. Turn it off actually and turn it down. Oh, I don't want to forget that. So my way of thinking now is, do we really need to go through this? Do we really need to do this? So what I'm going to do now is I'm now going to put a 5 amp fuse in there, which is what I wanted in the first place, which should be more than enough to power up a transformer rated at 4.18 amps. So let's try that right now and see what happens. You'll never guess. I found 2 lots of fuses, put them together in a bag and lost a lot. I can't find them. I've been looking there ever since. So I've found a tin of fuses from years ago. Does anyone remember this? Old Hoban, when it used to come in a tin. Anyone remember that? Because my parents used to smoke Old Hoban. We used to have a load of these tins. came in very handy for putting all sorts of things in, like fuses. Also, what came in the post yesterday before I went to work, I haven't got, I'm very short on nuts and bolts and stuff, and I went on to Amazon and I bought a selection of, no washers. Every time I lose a washer, I'm snookered. I need to get a selection of washers and bolts. These are all the same thread. They're all metric stainless steel bolts. They're all the same size diameter. They're just different lengths. But it's better than what I had. There's lock nuts. There's all sorts. And I'll be buying more of different stuff as time goes on. Anyway, what we're going to do is take our fuse out of here and stick in a new fuse, and then see what happens, see if it blows. Right, that's now our 5 amp fuse in, and we'll see what happens. I don't know where the original lot of fuses went. I put them all in a bag and I probably put them somewhere where I would find them. It hasn't worked, has it? Okay, let's switch on and see if we blow a fuse. Remember, it'll go dark if it does. So we're turned on. Yeah, we're turned on. Isolation is turned on, and that's with a 5 amp fuse. That's good. Oh, by the way, our tin can on our Murphy radio, when you look at it at this view, it's leaning over. I think we'll call it the Leaning Tower of Pisa radio. How's that? Right. Stable. We're on. Right. Let's turn the isolation off. Wait about a few seconds. Right, remember this is with a 5 amp fuse. Let's turn it on again to see if we blow the fuse. Bang, out she goes. Yeah, that's now tripped the master. So we do still have an issue. We'll have a look to see if we've got a blown fuse. Maybe we need a slow blow. Yep, it's blown another fuse. See, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. So the next thing is to go onto Amazon and have a look to see if we can find a slow blow fuse that fits this. If not, we're going to have to utilize an actual fuse holder with fuses. So let's go and turn our breakers back on again. Yep, it's blown our breakers. This is my fuse box. It's split into 2 halves. So when you lose your sockets, you only lose half of them, and the lights. So lights, sockets, which are split into 2 on there, on one side, and cooker is all on that side, and the other side it's got more cooker connections, sockets, water heater, lighting, extractor fan. Anyway, that's my fuse box. It's an ETN, whatever the earth that means. I can't open the lid because we've got these silly doors here, because it wasn't meant to have a fuse box that size. Right, we put our 13 amp fuse back in, turned it on, isolation is working fine. So next plan is the easiest fix, slow blow fuse. So let's have a ring around and see what we can get. Right, a little update in that we now have slow blow fuses on order. They don't do them to fit household electrical. There's probably a good reason for that. So you just have to wait for them to come in, probably take a day or two. I've ordered 10, so I've got plenty. And we'll try that. If that works, champion. If it doesn't, and then we go to plan B, and we'll power the transformer up in stages rather than in one go. Right, decided that the isolation has gone on for quite a while, so decided to make that a separate video. And for all you Americans, I want to wish you a happy Independence Day, if I haven't already. Happy Independence Day. I hope you had a good time and celebrated. Shango certainly did. He released a load of fireworks in a television, was live, and he filmed his street with people letting fireworks off. Brilliant. It's equivalent to our Christmas and Guy Fawkes rolled into one. So anyway, the resistance substitution box is going to be a separate video, and that's going to be coming up next. So catch you later. All the best. See ya.